What's up YouTube? Capital G here, Burning Abyss Nation, rise up because once again, you will be able to exceed spam. A lot of us know that Burning Abyss is arguably the most adaptable deck in Yu-Gi-Oh history, going through so many iterations at certain points, not even playing spells and traps at all outside of like Sekka's Light and running Block Dragon. But my personal favorite variant of Burning Abyss, and I'm not like a connoisseur of the archetype or anything, is the PK Fire version, and that's the version that runs the Phantom Knights in conjunction with the Burning Abyss monsters. The main Phantom Knight monsters are all level 3, so they make perfect Ixie fodder for Burning Abyss. Plus, much like the BA monsters, when they hit the graveyard, they are useful as well. You can banish things like Boots and get Fog Blades from your graveyard, and even without Rusty Bardiche, you can still do some pretty powerful things. There are a lot of amazing Ixie monsters that just weren't very good during the Vrains era, but these cards will want to be once again be very good during Master Rule 5 and the Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's era. Anyways, we're going to open up and see what the BA player can do. I don't think he's actually going to make any numerical advantage in this first opening turn. However, with Burning Abyss, like, it's not necessarily about making numerical advantage. It's kind of setting up your field because a lot of your cards are going to float. You can see right here, I think he actually hit like a Cosmic Cyclone, Galaxy Cyclone. I always get these damn cards mixed up. This is potentially a +1 from the graveyard that he can activate, and he was lucky enough, even though he used his normal summon on Boots, which I believe is under this Dante, he was lucky enough to mill another copy of Boots to the graveyard. This means he can banish this and get a Fog Blade, so basically a defensive card to use against his opponent. We'll see exactly where he's going to end. There's that Fog Blade I was talking about. Also gets the Search from Skarm. I think he discarded that to summon the Lady Beatrice. And you look at this field and you're like, well, Cap, he opened with 5 cards. He still only has 5 cards. Like, was it really that good? I think it's about, it's really about what Burning Abyss kind of setting up. The Seer obviously is going to float. You have a defensive card. Even Beatrice can technically kind of be a defensive card because she can send like Farfa to the graveyard to banish an opponent's monster. And if Beatrice dies, then like all of these cards are just going to be online. Everything that's kind of under her as Ixie material. So we'll see if Senka can push through it. We all know Senka basically a beatdown deck. I think he's going to start with his he's going to start with Gunyang. It's basically kind of like down the rest of Pankatrops for the deck. It kind of mixed with Cyber Dragon. Special summon it as you would Cyber Dragon, and then it can just blow up an opponent's monster. It doesn't have to tribute itself though. So Beatrice is going to die, but it's perfectly fine. She can activate her effect, and Dante will activate as well as the Graph, and he gets to summon, best of all, Jerry Curl Dante, my favorite Dante. It has to be the Fusion Dante, of course. I love Fusion summoning. He's going to keep on pushing with those Senka monsters. And I believe he's actually going to use, this is a little bit of a weird play, he's going to use the Phantom Knights of Fog Blade on his own monster. I guess he really wants to keep that Cherubini protected. Interesting. Don't see that a lot, but it's fine. He's going to summon the Farfa from the deck that can banish one of his opponent's monsters. He ran over Jerry Curl Dante, which means he loses a card from his hand, so, you know, that's that. He is going to ultimately draw an additional card, and then I believe he got the Skarm Search for the Tour Guide from the Underworld, so that'll probably be his normal summon. He's going to use that Galaxy Cyclone from the graveyard, so that's a just free +1 that he got off of Dante, and I think Tour Guide is going to be the normal summon. He can say bye-bye to Rubik, but perfectly fine. This is one of the cards that I was talking about. Like, there are going to be so many monsters in Master Rule 5 that you see that you really haven't seen in years. Burning Abyss play a lot of them. Cards like the Phantom Knights of Breaksword. When was the last time you saw this card? I can say I really have not seen this card played during the Vrains era at all. I think I saw Trickstars play it like once, but generally speaking, we haven't seen this card since like what, 2015, 2004. It's still such a good card. It can not only pop like a Fall Blade, but it can pop your opponent's monsters, summon PKs back from the graveyard. So it's just an excellent card overall. He's going to go ahead and use the Phantom Knights of Breaksword. It's not actually going to be the only one used in this turn. Levier the Sea Dragon is another one, just an amazing rank 3. He's going to use that to get a monster from his banish pile. Once again, using Breaksword. And Breaksword really shines if you have PKs in the graveyard because it can blow itself up, blow an opponent's monster up, and then you get those PKs back as level 4s. Usually people go for Dark Rebellion Exceed, right? It used to be like broken back in 2014 14. I kid you guys not, like it was such a strong play because not only do you get the Dark Rebellion, but then it gains attack, so it's like actually a ton of offense. And you can see that he's easily able to break his opponent's board just using that break sword multiple times. Now his opponent's Lin or Lei Quan would be able to draw a card, but I think he's going to Ash Blossom that during the battle phase. Yep, he's going to use the Ash Blossom. I don't even think it honestly mattered, to be real. Like even if he did get the draw card, what was he going to draw that would have actually got him out of this situation? And you're even seeing things like Fire Lake potentially come back into play. In this build, if you're playing like a PK version of Burning Abyss, I don't think I would run Fire Lake because I feel like you really need to commit to like summoning as many Dantes as possible at that point. And I feel like this build is not completely focused on Dante, so I don't think I would run Fire Lake, but it can be a good option if you're running like a straight pure version of Burning Abyss. Anyways, we'll pause for one quick second. We'll show off the deck. All right, so this is what the deck looks like on paper. It took me a second to pull it up, but yeah, this is definitely PK Fire. I don't think that I've seen this many traps in a Burning Abyss deck in a very long time. I definitely think that I would not play multiple copies of Fire Lake. I don't even, truth be told, as I said at the end, I don't even really think that I would play Fire Lake in this build at all, but 2 copies, definitely not. Yeah, so PK Fire is going to be a mix of like, obviously a bunch of Burning Abyss monsters and or Tour Guide. You can also throw in Phoenix Rhino Warrior. I've always kind of considered this an unofficial Burning Abyss monster. And then you have your PK engine as well. The only PKs that you're going to run are going to be the level 3s. There's some level 4 PKs, but those are bad. Nobody plays those cards. And these are all just used for like Xyz summoning. You're going to be making break swords, which are going to a lot of times transition into Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Also, Levia the Sea Dragon. Very solid card, not just because the Burning Abyss monsters can banish themselves with, what's the burn guy? Barbar? Yeah, Barbar can be a way of banishing your BA monsters, but in addition to that, you can also use Allure Darkness to like banish your BA monsters, so there are multiple ways of banishing cards. I like the trap lineup, you know, Phoenix from Windblast, Paleozoic, Dynamiscus. This deck obviously has lots of discard fodder. If you're not discarding the BAs, discarding the PKs is perfectly fine because they float generally into this card as well. So, you know, this will be an excellent strategy to see moving towards Master Rule 5, and a lot of people will be excited to see it come back.